Hello, people. So I want to expand on this Tone Bone situation. Now, I didn't delete the Tone Bone video, but I privated it. The reason why I privated it is because, like I said before, I wasn't sure that um that I didn't want to feel like a hypocrite, like me saying that I won't say defending him, but me showing a little bit of empathy and sympathy than satirizing, if that makes any sense, his situation. Now, if you don't know who Tone Bone is, he's an Instagram and a TikTok. I was going to say YouTuber. I'm so used to cause I grew up in the world of YouTube, but he's a TikToker and an Instagrammer. He mostly posts on those two platforms. He don't post on YouTube, and people has made videos about this person, calling him dangerous, and he's an incel. Now, later in this video, I'm going to show y'all a clip of me reading an article that talks about adults with autism, and maybe y'all can see some of the traits that Tone Bone has, which he does mention that he has autism. I'm gonna say this: autistic people in relationships are a very hard thing. As a person that know people with autism in relationships, particularly with connecting with others, it's not just relationships, sexual relationships, but making friends is very hard. And I think that's what Tone Bone is going through. And he's expressing it in a rageful way, as autistic people do. Now, you're gonna have some people that's gonna be in my comments that's gonna say he still shouldn't say he wants to kill all women. I get that. That shouldn't be said by anybody. But what y'all gotta understand is he is an autistic person. He is on the spectrum. I don't know what type of autism he has, but usually when you know an autistic person and when they don't get their way, whether it's an adult or a child, particularly a child, they express it in a rageful way. Um, I'm gonna look it up. I forgot what it's called when an autistic person. I'm doing research while talking about this. Rages when they don't get their way. And plus, I'm not a professional, too. I am not a psychologist. I'm just trying to get a better understanding of this Tone Bone person, because as I watch these videos of people criticize him, and not just YouTube, but on Instagram or TikTok, I feel like there's sort of like a disconnect. People is mostly looking at it in the incel way. I'm looking at it as a, like, not just like psychological standpoint. I did take some psychology classes in college, but like I said, I'm not a professional. But the way I see the Tone Bone situation, not the normal typical angry incel that's just raging. Which, yes, there is partial inceldom, but let's be honest and real. People are so quick to label people, whether it's incel, simp, racist, homophobic, whatever. Particularly in this social media world we live in, and not just social media, just sensitive society, we gotta start breaking things down and start researching things and understanding people. And I know people like Tone Bone, very frustrated people, especially when they have a disability, and that's what people is missing. Like, they do mention it, but it's like it's minor, and that's what people is forgetting about the whole Tone Bone situation. And that's what's making me feel uncomfortable. And usually I shouldn't make videos like this, especially before my return, which I will make sports and more entertaining content. But this needs to be said, and this needs to be addressed in a full video. But like, an involuntary flight response to overwhelming stress where a person loses control to inability to communicate needs, causing intense frustration. Let me read that again. An involuntary flight response to overwhelming stress where the person loses control to an inability to communicate needs causing intense frustration. Now this is what I think that's Tone Bone, is going through. He is going through sort of a rage where like he's 40 something, he's 44. His birthday was like a couple days ago. I think it was yesterday. I don't know. He did make Instagram posts about that, but as an autistic person, like it's like for example, autistic child, if they say if they want a toy, like for example, if they want a wrestling figure or a Power Rangers figure, that's the things I grew up watching, or a car, or if it's a girl, if they want a Barbie doll or a Nerf gun or an easy bake oven, if they don't get it, they start raging. You see that with autistic adults too, where if they don't get their way, they express things that non-autistic people do. That non-autistic people do rage, they do get into fits, they do get into temper tantrums, but this is morally common in autistic. Challenges of autism in adult relationships. Autism affects the way the individual processes and experience and interacts with the world around them. Autistic individuals sometimes approach relationships and social interactions in ways that neurotypical people don't completely understand. This has led to all sorts of myths and misconceptions. The common myths about autistic individuals include they don't crave social interaction, they lack empathy, they don't have normal emotions. Excuse me. All these ideas are false. Humans crave social support and strong relationships. Autistic people are not such. They are capable of connecting with others at empathetic levels. Their emotions can run deep, even if they have different ways of expressing themselves. In fact, the study shows that autistic adults tend to experience higher levels of loneliness than their peers. Despite the myths and misconceptions, there are some autistic traits that can complicate relationship dynamics, reading social cues, desire for consistency, anxiety, neural interest, sensory issues. People, and I think this is what Tone Bone is going through. Not just the him videos of him raging about him not having a sexual partner, but other things too. It's him addressing that he barely has no, not people to hang out with, but like people don't care about him. People like only uses him, and you see these traits in this person, and that's what people is missing. This is why I said in my short that the internet can be a very negative place because like I said, like it should be obvious. Like people keep saying, like the incel, he's a danger to society. Like, here's my thing. Like you should I'm not defending these people who make videos that's hateful and driven by hate, but we gotta understand these people in a psychological standpoint. I'm not saying we should be psychology majors and people that's like that knows the brain, but it should be, it's like I'm not saying people should be doctors too, but like I've seen this before in people where people act like this and like hopefully Tone Bones watches this video and hopefully if like we can talk to each other, whether it's Instagram DM or whatever it may be, like to talk. Maybe hopefully I can do an interview with this person to get a better understanding of what's going on with this person because the internet is missing something and they just calling this person an incel. Like, I'm looking at this one video where this person, the title of the video is the worst TikTok's worst incels out of control. First of all, let me say something. There's people that's worse than Tone Bone. I remember in 2021, I'm not gonna mention the person's name because you already know who that person is. He's a certain big person. I mean, literally, that was on the internet and like he was making before the situation, the sting operation. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He made videos about bashing women. Now, I don't think Tone Bone is that person where he's gonna take it to another level. Like, because usually, this person, especially a person with disability, like they don't take things to another level unless like they have like maybe antisocial personality disorder, maybe bipolar, maybe even autism. But usually, autistic people don't take things to another level to where it leads to violence. And I don't think Tone Bone is capable of being mass destruction. I'm messing up my words. I am sorry. I usually don't do videos like this, but Tone Bone. Okay, let me look up something else. Like I said, this is raw and uncut of me doing research. That's why I'm messing up on my words. But let me show everything. Incels and autism. Okay, this is AI. Yeah, I really not a fan of AI. Recent research has identified significantly higher prevalence of autism spectrum disorder and autistic traits within online community of involuntary celibates incels compared to the general population. Now, and it, especially reading that backs what people say. But here's my thing: autistic people can be attached to anything. They can be attached to anything, sports, um, anything entertainment, whatever. Like, and it's especially hard because in sexual relationships, it's got to take understanding, and most sexual partners don't. I mean, if you if you are in a relationship with an autistic person, it's going to be hard to understand that person, especially if you're a non-autistic person. Like, if you know autism, you know what's gonna happen. And like, I don't think Tone Bone is around people that understands him. There's a lot of people, even with this world of acceptance or whatever, there's still people that don't understand autism. And I don't think, like I said, I don't know Tone Bone, but as I see it and the things that he has mentioned, I don't think people understand him. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But if they do, they should watch these videos and help him out. Like, I don't think, like, unless Tone Bone is ready, I don't think Tone Bone should have a sexual partner until he's ready, until he's mentally ready, until he's psychologically ready. I think what the first thing should happen, he should surround himself not in a sexual way, but in a friendship, acquaintance way, that people care about him first. And if he does that, like, then the person can say, "Oh, that person's using you. That person's doing this. That person's a person that has his best interest at heart." And that's why I think that's what's going on with Tone Bone. Like, he does not have nobody. I won't say nobody. I don't think he has a person that has his best interest at heart. And like, how long is this? This has been 12 minutes. Like I said, it says that autistic people has a connection with incel culture, and this makes me want to go. I want to talk about incel culture real quick too. Since the creation of the internet, or not just the creation of the internet, since like Western society has embraced all these philosophies like feminism, LGBTQ, um, all this stuff, you see a growing disconnect between females and males where it's a spiritual disconnect, especially knowing that women can be on their. And like I said, I know some people don't get offended to this. It is what it is. That's fine. That's okay. You don't gotta agree with me. This is all my opinion. This is all my perspective. But there has been ever since, I guess you can say after the civil rights movement, like around that time, like the 60s, after the 60s and the 70s, where in the 70s you have the cyclodextrin psychedelic drug movement where people did drugs and stuff, um, like LSDs or whatever. And then in the black community, like around the 80s, you had the crack epidemic. And that's how you have all this like single parents. And then in the 90s, like you have all these groups being promoted and all this stuff being promoted in entertainment. And people look at the 90s in history as the best decade in history. But I think the 90s is a like made the problems that we're dealing with today, and not just the 90s and the 2000s, and you have the 2000s where a lot of things was being promoted. We went through 9/11 and all that type of stuff, the wars with Bush, and then in the 2010 you have the social medias became more prominent in people's lives. And in 2020 you had the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. You had a lot of factors throughout history of why we have the problems that we have today. And I think why incel culture is risen because there has been a slow disconnect between males and females where you have women, they can date whatever they want. Women can do OnlyFans. Women can work if they want to. Women could be housewives if they want to. Women got more freedom. And men, you got some men that's like, oh, I want a wife, but you got to deal with the 304s and all this type of stuff. And certain men, they express themselves. Some of them might be frustrated, and then some men don't care. Some of them might be in between. You never know. And like I said, you see this growth to where you have this, and that's not healthy in a society where you have men and women disconnected. That's why you have incels and feminists and simps and all this type of stuff and 304s. That's not healthy in Western society where you have a growth of disconnect between the sexes. God made men, God made women for men. And if y'all don't like that, it is what it is. It's the Bible that says that women was made for men. And most men, they don't have that female companion because let's be honest and real. Most of these males, especially in the single parent era that we went through, not just in the black community, we also see this in other communities too, where most males need a female companion because because you have a lot of masculine energy, and if it does not be tamed by a person that's kind and gentle, it can go out loose like a beast. And that's why you see all this incel stuff. Like, you got a lot of frustrated men that express their emotions on the internet and they do insidious things. And I don't think Tone Bone is that way. I just don't see it. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe I'm an optimist. I don't know. But I just cannot see that in this person. Where he's going to purchase a gun and shoot up a school or shoot up a movie theater or whatever, shoot up a bus, I don't know, or shoot up a concert. I just don't see that. I don't see him killing a female. I just cannot see it. I can't see him capably doing that. I don't think he has the mental wherewithal to do that. Like, I just don't see it. I just think he's a frustrated person and people just don't understand him. Whether it's real life or the internet, people just don't understand the dude. And yeah, like in between this or maybe after this, I'm gonna show y'all the article that I read. And yeah, so hopefully Tone Bone can get himself better mentally. Hopefully he surrounds himself to people who care about him. And Tone Bone, if you're listening, the main goal is not women. The main goal is to better yourself. And that's what most men should achieve. Excuse my language. Fuck the incel shit. Men, we gotta be make ourselves be better. Fuck the women. let's make ourselves better. Because, like I said, like, ain't nothing is worse than a man who looks at him, not in a narcissistic way, but looks out for himself and not look at, like, oh, all this materialistic stuff as the main thing, because it's all just materialism. And spiritually, there will be a woman that will be for you, not just Tone Bone, but other men that's watching. But this is your boy, Main Event Primetime TV. I will make another full video around May. It's going to be a sports video. It could be the NBA, NFL, whatever.
You have to be careful what you say on TikTok, social media, Instagram, because people are hateful, deceitful, wicked, and they will do anything to go out there and take someone else. See, when you're an individual that's autistic or has a disability, you get treated horribly left and right. I'm sorry I was diagnosed with it. I'm sorry I was born with it. I'm sorry I came out like this, but I am the way I am. And if they don't like me for the way I am, too bad for them. Oh well, too fucking bad for them.